So lately, there's been one question coming up rather consistently enough that I felt it needed to be addressed in more of a long form piece of content so that I could better express my thoughts on the topic. And that question is whether you can substitute barbell squats for Smith machine squats. The short answer is absolutely not, but here's my rationale. One of the most progressive benefits of barbell squats, in fact any barbell exercise for that matter, is that when you are working with a barbell, it is up to you, the trainee, the lifter, to not only move the bar and the load on the bar through a full range of motion with quality form. It's also up to you, the trainee, the lifter, to ensure that you maintain the most efficient bar path possible. By doing so, you'll apply adequate degrees of stress not only to your muscular system, but also your skeletal system and your central nervous system. They'll all be working in synergy to ensure that you maintain that quality of form and further that you maintain that efficient and further optimal bar path. Any lift that you might do on a Smith machine, other than, as I've been told, calf raises. Apparently calf raises are a progressive exercise on the Smith machine, but generally speaking, any exercise you can do on the Smith machine, you can also do with a barbell. A barbell that is not attached to a set of steel rails, grease fittings, bolts and locking mechanisms that are going to not only potentially restrict your range of motion in a way that maybe doesn't match you anatomically, but further is going to maintain that bar path efficiency for you. That might seem cool. That might seem beneficial because now you can slap a ton of weight on the Smith machine, and not only are you gonna get a sweet pump in the pecs or whatever other muscle you might be training, but your ego is also gonna be boosted like nobody's business because there's no chance you'd be able to lift that with just a traditional barbell. But you're also going to miss out on many of the progressive benefits that come along with being able to execute that lift with proficiency of form. Many of the benefits that come along with having that bar loaded on the skeletal system, having the central nervous system working to ensure that bar path is maintained and that the recruitment is efficient enough while maintaining that quality of form throughout the entire repetition and consequently the entire set. Consider the greater degree of stress that your muscular system as well as your tendons and ligaments would be under ensuring that that efficient bar path is maintained throughout that entire range of motion. A lot of that is now lost because the bar path is kept static for you by that machine. The range of motion is easy to execute now, or easier to execute now, because you literally just have to exert upward force. You don't have to worry about anything else. You miss out on a lot because of that. It's not comparable, it's not the same, and in my honest opinion, it's just a way to cut corners. I realize there's a lot of people that are gonna throw me shade for that. I'm gonna catch a little bit of flack for talking smack about the Smith machine because it gives such a good pump. But as I mentioned, there's not one exercise that you can do on the Smith machine, other than maybe some of those weird Fitspo booty workouts that I see on Instagram, that you couldn't otherwise do with a barbell. And further, if you were to do it with a barbell, there would obviously be a much more progressive yield in consideration of all of the stress that is applied, as I mentioned, to the central nervous system, skeletal system, muscular system, as well as the tendons and ligaments, and their contributing assistance to maintaining that efficient bar path and that full range of motion. Just my opinion, but I wanted to share it because it's been coming up quite frequently, and I wanted to better express why I'm just not a fan. Some people love the Smith machine, more power to them. I am a fan of the old school traditional barbell. And I'm sure the Smith machine has its place in extenuating circumstances. I never like to speak in absolutes, even though sometimes when I get excited like this and I go off on my verbose rants, it appears that I may be. I am aware that there are extenuating circumstances where it can be a very useful tool, as is every tool that we have access to in the gym. Used for the right reasons, they can all be very progressive, but generally, the Smith machine is not going to be one of those tools that is as useful as people perceive it to be. And further, what's worth noting, and I want to make this very clear, it is not a comparable substitute for a barbell squat, nor is it a comparable substitute for a barbell deadlift, nor is it a comparable substitute for a barbell bench press. If you found this video informative, if you found it a little bit entertaining as I go off on a little bit of a rant, make sure you follow or subscribe, depending of course on what social media platform you're seeing this on. And as per usual, if you happen to have any specific questions that you want me to cover, whether they're fitness, nutrition, lifestyle related, make sure you send them my way. Comment on this video or drop a message in my DMs. And if I'm able to, I'll make sure to cover it in an upcoming post.